Now, if you're going to have a trust culture, to make it practical, you've got to have a trust structure. Privacy, it's a big issue today, particularly for millennials. You may not think so because you see them enter everything they have about themselves on Facebook. You know, did you see the film with Jim Carrey, The Truman Show? The guy grew up from cradle to young adulthood and didn't know that every movie made was on national television. Well, now people are doing that to themselves. We're turning ourselves into Truman. We're pointing the camera at us. We're giving every little detail of our lives. Strangely, paradoxically, for millennials, privacy at the same time is very, very important. Especially when it's not originating from them. That is to say, privacy as it relates to the way they're treated by the corporate body, the civic body, and the business. So I can give my privacy away, but don't you dare try and take it from me. That's the idea. This is a generation that knows that the Fab Four, Apple, Google, Facebook, Amazon, are trying to put every experience they can into a digital form, which they then control. Everything from your written communication to your phone calls, to your money, to your records, your music, your books, your television, your movies, your satellite navigation, even now through Wave and Pay, your cash is being turned digital, and the digital process is controlled by them. They're not doing it for humanitarian purposes or because they want you to have an easier life. They're doing it because your data and your preferences are money. Somebody asked me recently, when do you think we'll have a new world currency? I said, it's already here, man. It's called data. It's already here. We're already trading in data. Marketers know what you want to buy, what you prefer from your social networking. They know what you do buy and how much you spend by your Wave and Pay phone. And they know where you are at any time, if they want to, by your mobile phone sat-nav signal. Now, I'm not saying any of that is inherently evil. I'm saying there needs to be wisdom in the way we use it. And millennials are very sensitive to privacy. In the civic environment, more and more CCTV cameras finding themselves into our streets. There's one for every 14 people in London. And yet only about 3% of crime is actually solved using CCTV cameras. I'm not saying they're a bad thing. We just need to be wise. Police in my country now are looking to use military drones to map troublemakers in public demonstrations. I think that has some implications for privacy. You can walk into shopping malls in America now and look at a big plasma screen, see some great products there. What you may not know is sometimes there's two little cameras in the corner of the screen looking at you, mapping, tracking your biometric responses, your emotional responses to what you're seeing on the screen. We have a thing called deep packet encryption, DPE technology. It's used by the American government to track words like terror, jihad, terrorism, holy war in emails. The same DPE technology is used by businesses now to track keywords in their employees' emails. 75% of US companies track their workers' emails, often for very good legal reasons, but it can go too far. Some companies, 30% track keystrokes. Every individual keystroke of a worker on a keyboard is tracked. Now, what do you think that does to the morale of those who know it? If you have enough surveillance in the civic environment, it's not long before the citizen who says to the government, well, if you don't trust me, I don't trust you either, and that's where we get anarchy. Same thing can happen in a business. You don't trust me, I don't trust you. I'm not willing to give you my best. So we need to be respectful of privacy whilst having clear accountability systems. Now, can I say this about millennials? And I say it with great affection, but it's true. Millennials are not real good at structuring themselves, generally speaking. So don't go back to your adult child and say, this guy today said, you're so crappy at structuring it. That's not what I said. Generally speaking, because they're so well nurtured, they're so well structured, there's evidence in studies now that when they go on holidays, millennials don't know what to do with themselves because there's no structure. So they welcome structure if they recognize that it protects things like privacy. If you're going to structure them, get your facts straight, they have no tolerance for ignorance. Keep it performance-based, don't let it become personal value judgments. Avoid credibility gaps. If you've got a middle manager leading millennials that are less well educated than or more well-educated than he or she is, they will need to show expertise in other ways. And give constant feedback without micromanagement. Here's a cool thing. One of the greatest ways to get the maximum you can out of millennials in your workplace is to put them in the same area in the building. Now, I know it sounds like a recipe for distraction. But actually, millennials, because they thrive on the buzz of feedback, work better in a collective environment, especially in a creative sense, than they do on their own.